Now, please. Hello. Oh, yes, here we are.
Hey everyone,
Oh,
welcome back to the Business Building Book Club. We are starting a brand new book. I am so excited. So, if you have ever listened to the podcast, the SPI podcast or the Smart Passive Income podcast, with an amazing host, Pat Flynn, who shares with us his business journey, the expertise he's learned from other people, all of that he has put together that information into a series of different books. And today I am so excited that we are diving into SuperFans. I always have to read it. So, SuperFans, the easy way to stand out, grow your tribe, and build a successful business. I'm so excited. I know I've already said that. I am so excited. But before we dive into that, I want to welcome everyone who's watching live, welcome everyone who's watching on the replay. And I just want to invite you guys to pick up a copy of SuperFans wherever you want. You can be like Mark. That's what we say every episode. Be like Mark. Get the hard copy. Get the audio book. Follow along. We're not making any commissions or anything off of this. We are simply sharing great books with you, our community, and we want you to follow along. So you can either watch us live, jump in the chat, throw your questions at us, throw your thoughts and feelings and opinions at us, or you can watch us on the replay, and you can always join us in the comment section as well. So,
yes,
super fan.
Oh my God! You know what? I think this breakfast was very good for today, because I can honestly say that I am bananas over this book so far.
I was wondering where that was going. Mark, how are you doing today?
Oh, no. I'm doing fantastic this morning. Hey, welcome to everybody out there that is joining us in book club. I think we've got some fans out there. If you're a super fan, hashtag superfan down in the comments.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I just wanted to throw a pre-shout out today, and to all the mothers out there watching.
Yes.
All the mothers out there watching, I want to say a happy Mother's Day. And if I had flowers, I would send all of you a dozen, at least a dozen.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah. I think that mothers everywhere, all over the world, deserve it. The things that they do for their, for us. And they need to be celebrated every day, but especially this time of year.
Yes,
absolutely. And don't just celebrate your mothers, celebrate all the mothers around you. All the new moms, all of the old moms, all of the grandmoms, all of the aunties. I got a lot of aunties that I get to celebrate on Mother's Day. So heck yes to that.
Yeah. You have a lot of moms in your family, Molly? More sisters and brothers, or more?
We are a very female heavy family. We have quite a lot of badass women in my family, so we get to celebrate them all. But the best part is the extended family, all of the aunties and all of the friends of the family, because it truly does take a village to raise a child, and it's wonderful to take a moment to celebrate everyone that has changed your life and helped you grow up to be who you are. So shout outs to everyone.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I am a super fan of my mom. I hope you're a super fan of yours. So we are getting into to this new book, and I thought it would be interesting to just read the prologue and the introduction, and then have a conversation before we really dive into the meat of what Pat's teaching in this book. Because super fans, that's a topic that I think we've all at least touch the surface of in our work, in our content and whatnot. So I thought it would be interesting to share our thoughts before we get into the meat, so we can see how those thoughts evolve as Pat teaches us his framework. He gives us a brief overview of it in these chapters, or in the prologue and introduction, and I thought we walk through those. How's that sound?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man.
we were talking before about how much you have highlighted in this book,
Yes.
Molly.
Also, before we dive into that, since Mark brought it up, I am seriously curious. I'm going to put a poll up on the Visibility Hackers YouTube channel later after this episode, but I want to know from you guys listening right now, your copies of books that you own, not library copies, not copies that you borrow. Do you write in or highlight the book? Or are you someone like Mark who's like, no, I can't get myself to do that? Are you someone like me who goes with multiple colors? Or are you like my former college roommate who she would always try and find that middle ground? And so she would use removable highlighters, the kind that you can erase. So I want to know, do you write in your books or not? Let me know in the comments, and then check us out on the Visibility Hackers YouTube channel, because I'll put up a poll. I seriously want to know.
Yeah.
I don't like writing in my books, so I keep about 4 or 5 different bookmarks from time to time.
I love that.
Hey, you want to talk about something funny? I don't even have a bookmark right now because it's in another book. I'm using a napkin.
I just use the cover of the book. I do one of those.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for thin books.
You shared something with me, Molly, that I may start to do with how you put the little sticky notes right on the
Not sponsored, but post it if you want to sponsor me. Post-it flags. My favorite thing for book club. I can't show you them because they're like all crumpled up. Yeah, post-it flags. Please sponsor me. This episode has been brought to you by Post-it flags and removable highlighters. All right, so let's dive into this prologue. Oh, yes, Mark, after we finish prologue, I want a tour of your bookmarks.
Oh, this one here is actually one of those
photo strips.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. I've used like tickets. I use a lot of airline tickets as bookmarks. They're like the perfect size.
Yeah.
All right, so the prologue. This one I love. So we start out with a story. I was unsure of what to expect, and quite frankly, a little scared of what my wife, April, was about to show me. I'm hooked instantly from sentence number 1. So Pat goes on to this story about how this one evening his wife decided that he was ready to see her collection. She is a Backstreet Boys super fan.
Oh my goodness. It was
and
funny.
She has been keeping all of her merchandise in a box in the back of the closet, and she's finally ready to show him. Because not only is she showing him these items that she cares deeply about, no. She is showing her true self to him by sharing her super fandom. For decades, she has held these items. She has carried them from house to house. This is super fandom. And when this moment happened, I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. Like, we're talking something emotionally deep. Yeah, Mark.
Were you a Backstreet Boys fan?
Heck yeah, I was.
Oh, heck yeah. I have a funny Backstreet Boys story. We can talk about that later, though.
Oh my gosh. When I read this, the first thing I did was I went back and I asked them to play I asked my Alexa, I said, play the most popular song from the Backstreet Boys.
What song was it?
Do you know what it is?
Backstreet's Back?
Backstreet's Back.
Alexa heard me. Alexa, stop.
It's totally Backstreet's Back.
No, it's not.
Oh, I want it that way.
I want it that way. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a party. Lefty?
Oh, I'm not singing right now.
Join us for Book Club Night Edition, where we will sing along. Well, that, yeah.
No, I think I did that because I kind of read about the chapters coming, and it talked about getting them to learn the lyrics.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. So we're opening up this treasure chest that you was showing him, right?
And so underneath, okay. So where's the good part? Okay, slowly, she removed the lid, and I immediately locked eyes with one of the band members staring right at me. It was the tall, blue-eyed, blonde member of the popular boy band, Nick Carter, on the cover of his 2001 calendar. He had a smoldering look as if he was saying, "Hey, April, it's good to see you again. I'm still here. But who's this dude?" Pointing right at me. I'm short and I have brown eyes and black hair and a polar opposite of Nick Carter. Underneath the calendar was a stack of programs from concerts, and then I saw something I didn't even know existed. Ooh. Backstreet Boys action figures, unopened, 5 of them, 1 for each band member. But wait, there's more. Magazines, envelopes with who knows what in them, and then the clincher, a framed picture of Nick Carter. I had seen enough. I knew from that point forward that April wasn't just a fan of the Backstreet Boys. She was and still is a super fan.
Super fan. Yes.
But little did I realize April's hyper fandom for the Backstreet Boys and the stories I later learned about how all of this came to be would be vital in helping me learn how to build a successful multi-million-dollar business of my own with super fans all around the world. April's superfan journey taught me how to build a successful multi-million-dollar future-proof business by creating my own superfans around the world.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
I know.
Boom.
I know that journey all too well. I had more than a handful of them when I was DJing. Every show that I would do, they would show up. Every record I would put out, they would buy it. And believe me, when you're buying digital tunes, they're only like $1.99 to, I mean, if you the website Beatport, they always I think Beatport invented inflation because they were probably the only ones that were charging like $3 for a song. But the point is that like I had people like over a decade ago who would just buy anything that I would sell. Like it didn't even matter. It didn't even matter if I was the opener of the show and I was playing at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And it sure as hell didn't matter if I was on stage at 3 o'clock in the morning. These people were there, and it's fun. It's fun when you have them, and to bring it to bring it back to business. It's like, I think they're really talking about super fans when they say 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of the clients, right?
Absolutely.
Those are the super fans because you don't need many of them. And I knew very well that you didn't need many of them in order to put on a good show. Those promoters that would book me knew that I was always coming with 25 people, 30 people. Yeah. And everybody else had made no difference after that because the promoter was happy when he's charging $15, $20, $25, $30 a head that I was going to cover the majority of his overhead almost immediately. And now to the club owner, imagine 30 people at your bar spending a minimum of $100 per person. I just made that bar $3,000 just from the people that I brought through that door. And that's the not only the level of trust that you have with the fans, but the level of trust, the establishment, the vendors, the venue, the promoters, they now become your super fans and they want to push you more because they're like, yes, Lefty is constantly bringing us business, so we got to push him out there. And it's honestly amazing. And I'm so happy that April, his wife, is a super fan of the Backstreet Boys, because I love Backstreet Boys. They're the best.
You just described how the algorithms work as well. When you bring your audience, they continue to reward you, and they say this guy, this person here is getting people to view average viewing time, much more viewing time. Let's continue to feed his content out to more people, grow his audience more. Fans are important, but super fans are everything.
Everything. All right, I got something highlighted here.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go. So page 18. Actually, it's a chunk. So this is what Mark just read. Fans are important, but super fans are everything.
Everything.
So as a super fan, you also become a hardcore ambassador for the object of your fandom. You wave that flag high and you wave it proud. You tell your friends and family about it, and even if they don't want to hear it, you take pictures and immediately share them on social. You might even start a YouTube channel or a podcast about it, and over time, you'll influence even more people to start loving this thing. Super fans invest time, money, and most importantly, emotion into what it is they love. And oh my goodness, could I give you a better example than ClickFunnels and the community of funnel hackers, for example? They wear their funnel hacker shirts proudly. The kinds of clothing that we wear, that we choose to identify with, that we choose to wear those labels and share them with the world, says a lot about us and our super fandom. So either of you guys got logos on your shirts right now?
Well, I have this, but it's nothing.
It's nothing.
This
looks cool.
This was actually a plain one today.
I'm wearing my Sick Kids Hospital shirt because we love Sick Kids Hospital. But those items that we choose to wear. So if you look at the ClickFunnels community, so this is an online software as service community that has gone really heavy into building the community and building super fans separate from the actual software that they sell. It's fascinating to see. So when you register, what do you get? You get a shirt that says Funnel Hacker, and everyone has that same shirt. And I know the feeling of putting that shirt on for that first time and going, heck yeah, these are my people, even though nobody around me even knew what that shirt meant. It meant something to me. And I knew that anyone who identified with that shirt was my kind of people. Then you go to a conference like Funnel Hacking Live and you have everyone in all of their gear. Everyone's dressed up. Some people even get into pseudo costumes. Women do their nails to have the ClickFunnels logos and stuff. Like, people go intense into this community because it serves them in a way that rewards them for that financial impact they put into it, and what Pat's saying is that emotional work that people put into it as well. What do you guys think?
I mean, like, for me personally, I know that, like, with clothing especially, it's been a little difficult finding clothing that I can resonate with, just because I don't know. I feel like things are getting a little stale in the fashion community, in my opinion. And and honestly, I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna go spend like $3,000 on a shirt. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, I've started to notice that, like, what I wear are things that I'm personally making myself. Like, I might think of like a slogan or a funny catchphrase, or even put one of my logos on a t-shirt or a hoodie or whatever, right? Like, I recently made a shirt that says make money, serve people. Like that's a slogan of ours, right? So I'm finding that I'm just creating my own things that I want to wear, that I want to represent myself with. But yeah, I mean, I remember when I was kind of like fashion crazed, like there were certain stores that no matter what, I was going there, I was buying those clothes because that's how I wanted to show up. And yeah, I mean, they still do a great job today, but a lot of the stuff now is like graphic tees and all that, and I'm not about that life. I don't do that.
Well, when it comes to super fans, I think you can look at some examples out there in the market today, and I look at ClickFunnels as one, but then I also look at the Apple community, Apple products, and how there is this
the worst mouse ever.
The worst mouse ever, right? and how Apple has basically has these fanaticals. You could call them not super fans, but they're just fanatical about, you know, Apple products, and they wouldn't use anything else. Yeah. That's what I really take away from it. Okay, so let's look at ClickFunnels. You got people in the ClickFunnels community, but they aren't even using ClickFunnels. They love it,
right?
Yeah.
They love the community, but I think Apple goes a step deeper, because it's not, when you're Apple, you use Apple and you kind of swear by it. So I think they've got it even deeper as far as the fandom is concerned.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. When you think of, okay, and they've even got this, they make this big distinction between themselves and Android. And he in the book had this example. Okay, I did go a little bit ahead, so I hope I'm not going.
Mark, no. The teaser.
But did he talk about walking past a quarter?
Yes.
Walking down the street, and if you saw a nickel on the ground, how many people would pick it up? And if you walk down the street and if you saw a quarter, how many people would pick it up? More people answered that they would pick it up. But then if you saw $1, how many people would pick it up? And I think the examples that he gave just to express what being a super fan actually means.
Yeah.
What does being a super fan mean? And how can you take that and apply it to your branding, your personal messaging? I think that was the really, really big thing that I got just out of these first. They're not even chapters.
Yeah. So I was asking that same question, like, what does it mean to be a super fan? Like, that's the information I wanted to get out. What is that definition? And so there's 2 pieces I highlighted. Secret menu and feel like insiders.
I know exactly who did the burger.
So he's talking about California's In-N-Out burger. He says, or takeout, or here, I'll give you both examples because I love Lego. So for example, there's Lego. Lots of people love Lego, but the company has a big subset of super fans made up from all people of all walks of life. The timeless and classic toy that lets people bring almost any vision to life has also inspired a dedicated fan community that includes adult fans of Lego, and they even have their own acronym for themselves, who attend meetings and conferences together. In fact, as you'll hear about later on in the book, it was Lego super fans who helped rescue the company from bankruptcy. It literally saved the company. Or take California's In-N-Out burger, which has earned the super fandom of many because it's consistently delicious food and its secret menu that makes those fans feel like insiders. The company also draws intense admiration for paying its employees higher than market wage, blah, 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 blah. And then he gives the classic example of Harley Davidson.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how many people do you know who have some sort of Harley Davidson shirt, item, something, yet who don't actually own a Harley Davidson? And I say that as my father had a huge motorcycle that was at that time had a larger engine. It was 1600 cc's, and the Harley at the time, the biggest Harley at the time, only had 1100 cc's. But goodness, my dad's bike was a Yamaha, but it looked like a Harley. And so we still, like, that fandom, I think, is so neat, having those things that we can belong to, even if we're not actually paying for the item itself, because communities and fans are bigger. But secret menu, guys, secret menu.
I had an experience.
Yeah.
I had an experience with this, Molly. Burger Priest.
Yes.
The first time I walked into Burger Priest, and these people are ordering these things, and I'm like looking at their menu. I go, "What? That's not.
Where's
that's
that?
not there. Where is
really?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I had to do my research. I was like so curious. And I go to research. I go, does Burger Priest have a second menu? That's what I wrote, right? And then it goes, Burger Priest secret menu, and it literally listed like another 10 burgers that you can order that's not on the menu, which is like the most absurd burgers that you could possibly order.
Really?
Now, I feel like the magic of the secret menu is like lost. And I think that's because they've franchised, they've like made themselves a little bit more commercialized. Many people know about it now. So I'm sure In-N-Out Burger is the exact same way, but I don't know. I feel like, and I'll give you an example. There was this one burger called the Vatican. The Vatican had 2 patties, and instead of buns, it was grilled cheese sandwiches. It was a heart attack ready. Okay. And it was huge. It was literally so big. But it's like, if I was to go to the Burger Priest right now and order the Vatican, it doesn't have that same effect on me anymore as it did 10 years ago, right? I feel like there's certain things that work at the time, but then once you expand and grow, it kind of loses that magic touch, right? So I don't know, that's how I viewed it. But yeah, that was my experience with the whole secret menu thing. It was so awesome at the beginning. You got so excited, you know?
Wow. Molly, you mentioned wearing Harley Davidson, even though you don't own a Harley Davidson. Now, I think I have a Ferrari bag in there also.
Yes.
And it's and I think Pat touched on it in this prologue too, about the aspiration to actually associate yourself with this brand. And it's just interesting to see the breakdown of it, of how these things can really grow a business. And you know, when I think of SuperFans, I always think of the tech article that I'm familiar with, which is the Kevin Kelly, the 1,000 True Fans, and he mentioned that in this book as well. It's always, you know, you realize that these big companies are awesome, but it doesn't take 1 million fans to create a 6-figure business.
Exactly.
It takes creating your what is his name? Nick Carter.
Your Nick Carter. Yeah.
Yeah, create your Nick Carters.
Yeah. Well, so just listening to this conversation, my brain is making different connections. So Lefty talks about how he makes his own shirts, because those are the phrases and the topics and the symbols that are relevant to him, and he's moving away from the consumerist, mass produced things where we as brand owners would put our logo on things or our phrase on things and put them out for people to purchase and consume. Lefty's flipping that on his head. He's taking control of those items. So how do we connect this to business? Well, secret menu. You know what secret menu I think is fantastic? Starbucks. Because the Starbucks secret menu is really just other people's combinations of pre-existing menu items. They're just arranging them in a way that is unique to them. Like my Starbucks, what do I get? A Trenti iced green tea peach lemonade, half sweet with a little bit of extra lovin'. Like that technically could be its own secret menu item.
Yeah, it's called the jargon menu.
The jargon menu. I'm like,
Starbucks has a secret menu?
Well, like if you can order things that the baristas have come up with and they've like figured out their own menu things. And
yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I think like when Starbucks started introducing all these things, and obviously with like dietary restrictions and so on and so forth, Starbucks almost just removed everything from their packaged whatever menu. Like if you ordered something, it came with those ingredients. I think what they ended up doing was they just turned their ingredients into an itemized list. So it's like now you can make your own concoctions, because so many people are like, oh yeah, I want this, but I need it with coconut milk. I need it with almond milk. I need it with this milk. I need it with no milk. I need it with a lot of sugar. I need it with no sugar. I need it with half sugar. Like there's like the orders that come through, and honest to God, kudos to the baristas, because they're just like, oh yeah, okay, like they're on point. And like especially the ones that are on point, like I salute you, because there's a lot of orders and a lot of different concoctions that you guys got to think of, remember, and put together.
I find it interesting because from the Starbucks perspective, it is every single menu item is unique and customizable, and it becomes this secret menu when you speak the secret Starbucks language, etc., etc. But another example of that in a different way is talking about burgers. We're clearly going to have burgers for dinner tonight, guys.
Oh, I love burgers.
We have this fantastic burger chain here in Canada called Harvey's, and they are known, one of their slogans is "Have it your way," or something like that. So you order a cheeseburger and then you tell them all the things you want on it, and it's made to your favorite topping. So if you want 4 times extra pickles like I do, they will stack it with a stack full of pickles. But it's not a secret menu item. It's just a way of creating the topics you like, whereas Starbucks flips it. And I think that helps them get more, having that secret language helps them get those super fans even more, because you feel accomplished when you've learned a new language. Like I sure feel accomplished when I order successfully in Starbucks.
We talk about super fandom. Another company, or we'll just call it a franchise, that have been able to create these crazy fans is you right there with Lefty, the Force. The Force, Star Wars. Just think about the Star Wars community.
Oh my God. Yeah. And honestly, I am so, just to point something out to the audience right now, I'm actually super jealous of my brother. He went to the Star Wars Museum in Japan, because that's where he is right now. And I wish I was there.
See there? Talk about fans that will buy anything that you put in front of them. That's a classic example of Star Wars, Star Trek, and those series.
I want to ask this. Have you guys experienced a super fan moment with your businesses? And it could be big or small.
Yes.
Molly,
My very well, one of my very first customers, I wasn't even fully developed in what my offer was going to be. And it was going to be something in, let's say, stream A over here. But because I was in this mastermind group with people and I was offering all of this different advice in relation to storytelling, visual storytelling, and like how that translates to your funnel, I actually got people emailing me and DMing me and hiring me simply because of the feedback that I was giving, rather than any offer I had established. And I had to like go through and remake new funnels and order forms for this new thing that people were like, hey, I need you for this because your expertise is what I want. And it was fantastic because those processes, working with those clients, I never felt worried about the relationship because I knew they came to me for my expertise. I didn't have to prove anything. I didn't have to justify things. I knew this is the best thing for that client, and the client trusted me. So it was a really pleasurable experience going through that, which was really cool.
That's awesome. And you know what? Like, just to address something to the audience is that, like, when we hire people to do certain jobs, like, unless it's something that is just needs to be done, has to look a certain way, end of story, period, and that's it. But when you're hiring someone, I want you guys to hire someone with the mindset of a scientist, and you are about to crack the code on something new and brilliant, right? Like, I know people sometimes look at me as, this picture
Jason Momoa.
perfect. Well, yeah, but I know people look at me as this picture perfect videographer, and I'm gonna give you the most cinematic thing and so on and so forth. And yes, although I am gonna do that for you, but it's not a be all end all project. When I want, like, the perfect customer for me is when they come with an experimental point of view. Like, yeah, we're going to do this video, but I also want to do that video and this video with you and see how we can progress and grow this business together. Right? As opposed to just like, I just want this picture perfect thing because everybody tells me that every entrepreneur is perfect and da 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 da. I just go, I'm closing the door. Goodbye. Like, like, come from an experimental point of view, because even like just Molly said, like, she didn't even have an offer ready yet, right? But people still came to her, which means that they trusted her enough to trial and test something that, even though Molly had the knowledge, she had to also learn a business to make sure that it works, right? Yeah. So the best people, best customers are the ones that come with an experimental mindset and have that when you're hiring your vendors and you're outsourcing to other freelancers and so on and so forth, because that's when magic happens, when you get to trial and test and fail and push forward and whatever the case might be, but my super fan moment was I had somebody send me a 5-day challenge. And guys, it actually was for this 5-day challenge that I did 2 months ago. But someone sent me a 5-day challenge, and they literally said to me, if you do this, I'll buy yours. And that's when I was like, done. and later on that day, I didn't even have anything ready. I had nothing prepared. I just kind of had an idea of like, okay, what do I feel is fair to put my time and effort into something? I came up with like a very mini price, and I was like, all right, here you go. Like just here's the link, and I'm ready to go. I'll see you next Monday. And they're like, okay, done. Like, like
yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
But that's the beauty of part. That's the beauty with, like, when someone just sees something else and says, if you just do that, I'm gonna buy it from you instead.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I wasn't even expecting it. And I was like, done. Like I just jumped right on that opportunity.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think my superfan moment started off sort of like the pyramid of fandom.
Mm-hmm.
It started as I saw this person constantly liking my posts and commenting on them, and I'll throw a post out there with a series of templates that I have created, right? Oh, yes, please give that to me. Oh, I want that. That looks great. Started that way. Then it went into a DM conversation where, hey, do you have this? Started asking me for specific things, but this was gold for me. This was super gold because I knew that if they were asking me, then this was something that everyone else that may not have been, that just are not as open and communicative. I said, wow, this person is not only a super fan, but they are a window for me to understand what type of content to produce for everyone else. It was my inbox is almost the best place that I find content ideas because it's questions. And next thing you know, they're buying they're joining my challenge. They're constantly. It's kind of different for me because I didn't know. I was like, okay, this person is just like like really on it, really active, really pushing me until still to this day, anything I put out there, they're liking it, they're watching it, they're buying it, they're calling me
I want to, and that's dude, that's amazing. That's so awesome. And I want to jump ahead a little bit. I didn't read past the introduction, but I want to, I might be right as we read the book. I don't know. I could very well be wrong, but when it comes, I feel like how you can turn a random person into a super fan is, instead of always looking for different numbers and different people that come through, find that one person that no matter what you post is like always just organically in your comments, right? Yeah. Find that one person and like treat them like an infant. And what I mean by that is just like baby the ever living hell out of them. Like message them, ask how you can like add value to their week, ask like if they have any questions, really just like go in like, oh, I haven't, and Molly, I'm just using your name as an example. It's like, oh, it's feeding time, I gotta message Molly, you know what I mean? Like kind of like that, like treat it as if like you have like a baby essentially, and then and just keep pushing on that one person until you don't have to do that anymore, because that person will then eventually be like, holy crap, Lefty put so much time and effort into me, and now it's just like as the saying goes, breathe, eat, poop, Lefty, essentially, you know what I mean? like that's what you want to do. And I could be wrong, but I feel like find the patterns of consistency within the people that are already making conversations with you and engaging. And and the people that I'm referring to are not the people that you have to go in somewhere and ask for your post to be boosted. Okay, that is not who I'm referring to. Someone who just opts in organically and does it because they want to, because they thoroughly love what you do. And again, now that I'm speaking about this, I had another super fan moment where not a client yet, but one of my peers was having a conversation with this person, brought her into her challenges and all her stuff, asked, eventually was asking questions that would have led to the sale, and it was funny because she's a friend of mine as well. So she sent me the screenshot, and the screenshot literally says, "Wow, look at this." And the person's response was, "Thank you very much, but if I'm buying anything like this, I'm going to Lefty." And I was like, "Yo, don't show me that. Like, I feel like an a-hole."
Oh, that's good.
How do you handle that? How do you handle that?
I felt so bad, guys. I'm not even joking. Like, I felt terrible. I was like, "Don't show me those things," like, because I don't even do anything. So it's like when she sent me that message, I was like, I don't know if I should be like taking this as a compliment or if I should feel super bad. And I actually felt super bad when I got that message.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I got another part of the book.
Okay.
Because we talk about traffic, and when Lefty says focus on one person, I feel conflicted. And I feel conflicted just from an emotional perspective. We've already realized that Lefty and I say the same thing, we just say them differently. So this is me recognizing that. So focus on that one person. Yeah, well, but I need to increase traffic. I need to get more people on my email list. I need to get more people subscribing to my channel. I need more. I can't just do one person at a time, right? That's not going to build me a sustainable business in terms of numbers. Don't worry.
Okay.
Pat has our back. So he says,
show it to us.
Because when you focus on creating super fans as a byproduct, you'll get more traffic, more followers, more views, and more subscribers. You'll build a stronger, more targeted tribe who will go out of their way to support you and what you do. They'll be more engaged, more excited, and more likely to take action. And they'll be more likely to buy from you too. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Because as you drip one person at a time, you're not actually just bringing in one person's worth of traffic, because as we've talked about, like Lefty, when he goes DJing, he brings a crew of people who then bring more people, who then bring more people, etc., etc. It's about that ripple effect. So when you're based in building that fandom, supporting people, showing them the future that could be amazing with your product positioned as the go-to solution, oh my goodness, you now have waves of people that are coming to you, and people are more likely to share that solution with their people in their communities as well. Boom.
If I may. So just to clear that air a little bit, because this is where the miscommunication probably happened. I use the word one the same way when we say you, but we're not actually referring to you. We're just generalizing it.
Okay.
One is general. One could very well be 100 people, right? So yeah, again, saying the same exact thing.
But it's true. It's true. When you are focused, and it doesn't matter if you're sending 20 messages in a day or you're sending messages to literally only one heartbeat, one person, it's because you are focusing attention in that personal one-to-one connection. Whether that's one person you are connecting with a day, whether it's 5 people a day, whether it's 10 people a day, whether it's more than that, in those moments, in those conversations, it's one person at a time. You're sharing that message with them. And that, I think, is so cool, because it is that ripple effect. If you're a solopreneur and you work a 9-to-5 and you're juggling your kids, but you really want to get your side hustle off the ground, yeah, maybe you have time for one connection a day. Maybe you have time for one connection a week. That's okay, because those will have ripple effects, and it'll be incredible to see. And my business is at that phase where I was worrying about the trickle in, but now I can start to see that exponential growth because of paying so much attention to serving value, to building those super fans. It's exciting. It's exciting. But I got one more thing.
All right. Let us know what page.
I'm on page 20. Page 20, paragraph. Let's call it paragraph 3, the one that starts with unfortunately. Unfortunately, most businesses don't focus their efforts on super fans. Yeah, you can build a successful business without them, but you'll be spending a lot more time and money trying to get people to find you. And even if they do, there's no guarantee they'll ever come back.
Yeah.
Plus, this is the part I want you guys to
Highlighted
hear.
this.
You'll leave yourself susceptible to algorithm changes. If you're only focused on those transactions, you're not seeing the true why behind the actions that you should be taking. But when you're focused on those one-to-one connections, on building those super fans, doesn't matter how the algorithm changes. Doesn't matter if platforms disappear and new ones appear. It doesn't matter, because your super fans are the ones who are going to drive 200 miles out of their way to go see you, the Backstreet Boys, in concert. Like, those are your super fans. That is the level. So when I tell you about that client who asked me to build their funnel, even though I had never built funnels for anyone else before, that customer still calls me. That customer flies from their country to my country so we can work together. That is a super fan. That is going to allow your business to thrive despite what algorithms do, despite how they grow and evolve and change, because your community is going to dictate the kind of content, the kind of messaging, the kind of offers that you're going to serve to them, because they want it. They're like, hey, I have my credit card. Can you build this for me so I can pay you for it? Yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
So let me ask you guys.
Yeah.
Because I feel like and I want both your opinions on this one. Facebook's top fan badge, yay or nay? Because I feel like I'm okay, and I'm going to say nay on this one, only because I get notifications where it's like, I don't know, I'm just going to throw an example. You've earned a top fan badge from Mark. It's like, I haven't seen one of Mark's posts in 3 weeks. How am I a top fan of Mark?
Accept it.
Well, obviously, yes, obviously. But I mean, I just feel like these top fan badges are, I don't know. Are they good? Are they bad? Because I feel like they're just being thrown around like hotcakes. So how can we truly tell who's a top fan and who isn't a top fan? How can I be a top fan if I haven't seen a single post from you in a week, or if I've never even engaged with you? So what are your guys' thoughts?
I am in favor of it. And I'll tell you an experience that I had with a person that I'm in a mastermind with, and I was on their podcast, and just so happens that the podcast episode that I did on his show, I've been the top guest, like most views.
Yeah.
But I'm a support person. And I'm always gonna give. And I understand that the person who's on the receiving end of that knows it, and they notice you. So for me, it's more of a and because this guy, the guy that has the podcast, and he has a business page and he always posts on it. And he said to me, he said, I noticed your engagement on my posts.
Yeah.
And he went and bought something from me.
Cool.
So I see it as a tool to give, and it's always making a free deposit, deposit that doesn't cost you anything, and it's building goodwill. It's building a stronger relationship with the person on the receiving end. They may, and then also on the flip side, if you are being active on someone that has a lot of views, then your name is getting seen. And that might lead someone to click on you and then go back to your Facebook profile funnel. So it's part of the funnel for me, and I like it. I do like it. I like to be a top fan for Russell Brunson. Yeah.
Hey, look, I wear it like a badge of honor, but it's just a matter of like, I'm noticing that I'm getting top fan badges from people that I don't even engage with. And
Yeah.
I wonder how this is happening, right? Because and even vice versa, if they were getting a top fan badge from me, but they don't ever engage with my content, I wonder how is this happening? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I think it might be those small little actions that you take that lead to them coming back and viewing your profile and maybe even scrolling through, then that triggering the algorithm to, for your content to be pushed out to someone else. So I'm visibility and activity. It's always, when you take an action, there's always going to be another action that results from it. And we might not realize that these small actions we take are what's leading to, I think I have 140 plus days of, I'm on a 140-day streak, Lefty.
Oh, amazing. I think mine finished at like 133 or something. So I don't know. They haven't gone updated, but yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yay, let's go. Let's hit 1,000, baby. Let's go. Okay, but Molly, I want to hear your thoughts.
So I would say I don't have a lot of experience getting top fan badges, or at least it doesn't register with me when I get them. But I think I've gotten a couple, but they really didn't sit and have any meaning to me. So listening to Mark, I would have walked into this pseudo debate by saying, I'm on Lefty's side. I don't really see the point of it. Maybe it's a little bit watered down, but Mark, you've convinced me to switch sides entirely. Yes, the algorithm makes sense that it's feeding the algorithm. There's something that's happening there that we don't necessarily see. Algorithms are black boxes. We'll never see them. But from a psychological perspective, this is why I think they're interesting. So when we have acknowledgement of the things that we have accomplished or a task that we've completed, when we have acknowledgement from our close community, so think of a child being acknowledged for cleaning up their room, their parents give them a thumbs up, they're like, this is good, we want to reinforce that behavior. Well, that starts to water down its efficiency or its impact on our brain. The dopamine hits we get, that feeling of pride starts to water down because it becomes routine. But then when we feel acknowledgement from outside sources that we don't necessarily know the criteria for, so think about I think about in high school or in grade school graduation, there's all of those different awards that you can get, the Spanish award and the French award and the math award and the merit award, like all of those awards. We don't necessarily know the criteria that we're being judged against. It could be because the French award goes to the person who spent the most time in French detention versus the person who went on an exchange to France. No personal hard feelings in that situation whatsoever. But it's but it's because when we don't know those criteria and we get an award for something, we get acknowledged for something, those dopamine hits happen again, that excitement happens, and that feeds us to want to replicate that result. So if we get this award that's saying, oh, someone's a top contributor, you're a top fan, you're like, cool, how do I keep that going? So those of us who are more aware of playing with the algorithm will have a little bit of a different thought process to that because we have a little bit more background information of what's going on, but it does feed that reptilian part of your brain to search for more reward. So I find it interesting in that respect. But I also love, like when Mark says, if I become a super fan or if I become a top fan of Russell Brunson, my name gets put out in front of all of Russell Brunson's fans, or even just 5% of Russell Brunson's fans. That is still a huge number of people. We love Marley Jacks here. So I was in a Marley Jacks program, and I was one of the top 3 contributors in this group, and the contributions had to do with completing tasks within her program. So putting out your videos, completing that background information, having all your stuff organized. So yeah, I became really good friends with those people in that top 3 because our names just kept popping up. And it was that repetition of seeing that person's name. It built a level of authority for all of those people involved. And people started looking up to us and asking us for advice. So when we talk about cross chat, meaning the members of the group are not just talking to the owner of the group. We're not just asking Marley questions. We're now asking each other. We're now supporting each other in that community. Oh, it was amazing. But it's all like the psychology of it is really interesting.
Yeah. All right. I see you there, Marley Jack's top fan.
Yeah.
but just think about that. Think about how you remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how you remember it. And I think that's what it comes down to. There's really more of a psychological impact with these badges that Facebook allows you to give. If you've ever been inside of some groups, you can receive a group expert badge.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love giving those out. I love giving those out because it gives the members a reason to engage, a reason to go from casual to active, to move them up that ready for that word, the pyramid of fandom. Look, not a heart, but there it is. Oh.
So we do have to wrap up today's episode. So I'm going to leave you with one last little section. Page 21. I've basically read you snippets of the prologue here, guys. So let's talk about April, our Backstreet Boys superfan. So April's Backstreet Boys fandom may have been ignited the night she lay in her room trying to mend her heartbreak. Read the prologue to get the background on that. Mm-hmm. But it didn't start that night. She didn't become a super fan because of that one song and that one moment. She became a super fan because of the many, many moments of hearing the band, seeing them on TV, talking about them with her friends, and yes, staring at Nick Carter's sultry gaze and cascading blonde locks on the March page of his 2021 calendar. Mm-hmm. In the same way, your very own superfans will join you not because of a single huge magical moment or super produced video or great podcast interview. It's because of those many smaller magical moments, those interactions. And that, I think, is the perfect place to close the book.
I want it that way. Tell me why.
Oh my goodness. So my friends, next week, let's open up to my not sponsored Post-it flags. See.
Soon,
and that would be the best first sponsor ever. So next week we are going to read part 1. So Mark alluded to this pyramid of fandom, and that creates the foundational basis of the rest of this book, these different stages in the pyramid. And each of those stages is pretty much set out in its own part. So a group of chapters. So we're going to read part 1, casual audience to active audience. We're going to read chapter 1 about learning the lyrics that Mark already alluded to. We're going to read chapter 2, breaking the ice. Chapter 3, creating quick wins. Chapter 4, drive the DeLorean, which I am very excited for that chapter.
Baby.
And chapter 5, returning every handshake. So yes, we are reading quite a lot of pages, but that's because we want to be able to digest all of that information together. And if you got questions, comments, concerns throughout the week while you're reading all of these sections, definitely drop them over in the Visibility Hackers Facebook group. We can get some discussions going all week because, man, this stuff, so excited.
Stacked. This book is stacked. Like, I cannot wait.
we can channel the Backstreet Boys with the Business Building Book Club.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. All right, my friends, any closing words before we wrap up today?
Have too much fun. Have too much fun with you guys every week.
Honestly, just create super fans. Find a way to create super fans. Make those 100 connections that are gonna just push you forward. And it doesn't even have to be 100 connections. Maybe you have like a super high ticket item and you only need 10 super fans to make your business just completely explode. But that's where you want to be, so you don't be an algorithm chaser. When hey, that's it. Do not be an algorithm chaser. Be someone that actually makes a stink. And if you want to know what that might look like, you can always go check out my latest YouTube video about the direction that my business is going in. But
check out
that's it. Video. Don't be an algorithm chaser.
Yes. I'm excited about getting into this book and really learning how to, go from casual person, and it's an art. I think it's both an art and a science, and and I'm excited. So don't blink, Lefty, because when you blink, it's going to be Thursday.
Oh my God, today just came by so fast. I was like, oh, it's already Thursday. Where did this week go? Oh my gosh.
Well, my friends, thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of the Business Building Book Club. Join us again next Thursday, 7:30 Eastern in the AM. Or you can watch us on the replay on, where are we right now? We are on some Facebook profiles. We are on our YouTube channel, on the Visibility Hackers YouTube channel, on the Create with Lefty YouTube channel, and of course, on the Mental Marketers YouTube channel as well. So let us know where you're tuning in. Mwah. We will see you next time. And don't forget to pick up your copy of SuperFans so you can follow along with us with part 1 next week. Until we see you again, my friends, remember, we love you. Be excellent to each other, and read. Go read. And go check out the poll I'm going to post on the channel, because I want to know what you guys do in your books. Everyone say goodbye.
Bye.